I am back. Here is the second half of the video. Like I was saying, these guys here are generic, weird looking ones. The legs, this one's pretty cool. Here's more of the other ones. You can tell which is which because they got different looks and molds to them. More of those guys here. Here's this guy here. Here's this one. Another actual G.I. Joe dude. I don't know who he is. And then, I don't know who this dude is. I got it at a thrift shop or antique shop. It said Scary Joe on there. I think someone just colored his face with a Sharpie or something. Pretty stupid to do that. But the body is really weirdly made. I don't know if that was Blanca, somebody from Street Fighter. I don't know. But it is weird looking. He does have like a mold in a way of the old 90s G.I. Joes that came out where they're like all rubber in the arms and legs. But this one's made weird. He's got a articulation in the waist and the arms and legs and the head. But he's just a really weird looking figure. Here is Cobra Commander. I don't have his mask, but I have this dude here. This is definitely 90s. I don't know if they had these in the 80s, but I know these are from the 90s because I had a bunch of these growing up as a kid. I have a couple of them molded like this. And here's more of the weird generic looking ones. Maybe this is what's his guy that was killed. I don't know. The guy that captured Sitting Bull or whatever his name is. I don't know what his name is. One of the dudes, but yeah, it's horrible what happened in those times. But here's this weird dude. I don't know. That might go to one of my bootleg figures. I'm not gonna keep it though. Go to one of these dudes. Here's another. Kind of like G.I. Joe. Another corpse, I would say, like G.I. Joe. Or corpse. This is an actual G.I. Joe. It even says right there, G.I. Joe, a real American hero. No. Anyways, they made so many of this dude, like different colors of his hair. Some of them were blonde, some of them were like weird. They have so many of this guy. And I come across this dude like all the time in the stores, more than any other G.I. Joe. Mostly this guy. And here's another one of those weird looking ones. Here's that corpse I was telling you about where like it's all molded. You can't take none of that off. That's the figure. But the pants are able to come off. You see the boots again, like I said, and I'll show you the other one. Just to show you what I'm talking about here with the comparisons. If you'd stay still, stay right there. There you go. See? Crazy weird. Anyways, here's another G.I. Joe. Now this one is like I don't know what you'd call this. A G.I. Joe wannabe Max Steel maybe? A bootleg G.I. Joe Max Steel? I don't know. But this is like a generic fake one. I know that for a fact. There's a lot of articulation, but it's really really weirdly made and fake. They made a couple of them like this. I got 3 or 4 of them like this in here. Here's this one here. They really messed up on making these. One of the arms is actually backwards, which is that one. Yeah, but here's this guy here. Here's another G.I. Joe. Another G.I. Joe. This one was actually my favorite one right here. Kind of looks like Snake Eyes. Could be Snake Eyes. I don't know. I do have Storm Shadow in here too. But here's this guy here. There's another generic one. G.I. Joe. Maybe you guys can tell me who this guy is. He is G.I. Joe. I know that for a fact. His G.I. Joe thing kind of got scraped off there. He's kind of losing his hair here. It's sad. But maybe it's Colonel Guile. I don't know. No, it's not Colonel Guile. Somebody from the 90s. There's a G.I. Joe. I know that. One of the Red Ninja dudes. Here is a weird. This is not. I don't know if this is G.I. Joe. This is one of the newer ones that came out. Like really new. They were selling these at Big Lots. And I got maybe 1 or 2 or 3 of these guys. I don't know in here. But they are made weird. They're supposed to be G.I. Joe or some bootleg soldier dude. And I know for sure this is G.I. Joe. This is Destro. This is straight up G.I. Joe. Alright, come back at you with the 3rd video here in a minute.